You know, guys, for the last month or two, and I mean, if you really want to extend it, ever since the inception of this company, Activision has just been one of the most atrocious, just pitiful, spiteful, just overall garbage company. Ran by Bobby Cosby, ran by a bunch of guys who don't care about the community, who don't care about Call of Duty, who don't care about producing quality products. All they care about is money. And I mean, you see this absolutely anywhere. You talk about Black Cell, you talk about these bundles recently, you talk about supply drops back in the day. I know a lot of people had issues with map packs back in the day. I don't know what you're smoking, but map packs are a million times better than what we have nowadays. But anyways, that's not what today's video is about. I'm just trying to reacclimate you guys with Activision. In addition to what I just said about them, I mean, we saw them strike down SM2 and X Labs. The moment XDefiant starts tweeting out things, they want to start tweeting out about all these crazy changes coming to Call of Duty, and if we're being completely honest, I still haven't played Season 4, but from what I've been hearing, Season 4 is still a bunch of garbage. But here's the thing, guys. Some of your sources that you might have been using to find out information about Call of Duty to really make a judgment on it, perhaps you haven't been hearing as much from them as you were before, because Activision right now is currently silencing people who are critical of Call of Duty, even if they're their own people. I am talking about Charlie Intel not being invited out to play the new Fondle map on Warzone, not being able to test out what's actually coming in Season 4, unlike other content creators who are not as critical, quote unquote, of Call of Duty. And if we're being completely honest, Charlie Intel isn't even critical in my eyes. I mean, that guy's a gooch licker, but hey, if Activision sees him as a problem, they probably see me as the spawn of Satan. But if you haven't heard this yet, this comes out from the guy who runs Charlie Intel. His name is Kashav Bhatt. He says, spoke on this on the podcast, but for clarity and transparency, I was not invited to recent events because of being critical of the game and the studio. No hard feelings, we move forward and continue the work to deliver the best COD news on Charlie Intel. And just right off the bat, you might not see this as a big deal, but when Call of Duty and Activision are actively trying to silence their own community, and people who represent the community, somebody with a large platform like Charlie Intel, I'm hoping you guys can see some sort of issue with this. I mean, this is not good news whatsoever. Activision is just stamping on everybody what type of shitty company they truly are. Now, I personally use Charlie Intel's tweets in my videos extremely often, so getting some information from him on Fondle whenever that was coming out, it would have been pretty useful to not only content creators, but a large portion of the COD community relies on information from Charlie Intel, from Doug Dimmadome Warzone, who was invited out to play the new map early. And no, I have not forgotten about sending him to the gulag, because Season 4, as it stands, is still a complete pile of monkey shit. So stay tuned for that in the next video. But anyways, Charlie Intel is not the only person who has been silenced, okay? We have seen this on multiple different occasions. If I'm not mistaken, Blame Truth and a bunch of other larger content creators who are quote-unquote critical have been blocked by the new COD Updates account. For what fucking reason? I don't know. According to them, they don't even tweet out at them. But there is actually another interesting account that did get blocked, and this one is actually extremely funny in my opinion. And to me, it just shows how insecure Activision and these developers are. This comes out from an account called XDefiant Alerts. I guess this guy's a news source for XDefiant, similar in the way that Charlie Intel and Modern Warzone run their things, except for XDefiant. And he tweeted out saying, "We've just been blocked by Call of Duty's official Twitter." And as you can see, they got blocked by not Activision, not by the developers, but by the game's official Twitter. Now, I needed some more information on this, some more context, and what I found in the replies is extremely funny, guys. Somebody asks why, and he says, "'Cause I commented under their post saying, who's leaving for XDefiant?" And this is something that I've seen a lot of people do, especially when Call of Duty started spam tweeting about Black Cell. By the way, on a side note, if you bought Black Cell, Therapy or the Gulag, I'll let you choose on that. But a lot of people were tweeting at Call of Duty whenever they started tweeting about Black Cell in Season 4, saying, oh, we're just gonna go play XDefiant when that comes out, or XDefiant's better, or I guess who's leaving for XDefiant, and that warrants you getting blocked by the official Call of Duty Twitter. But it's a little bit deeper than this, guys, because somebody else responds saying, weren't you a news account for COD? And he responds saying, yes, I run Warzone QG as well. So currently, this guy is a news source for Call of Duty. So somebody who is in Call of Duty's favor, because as you've seen a lot of these other platforms do, they don't really talk about, oh, don't buy Black Cell because we want Call of Duty to change. No, these news sources don't talk about that shit. All they do is promote it, saying, oh, look, Season 4, Black Cell, $30. Look at these cool exclusive blueprints and operators. Just adding to the issue, and you would think this is in Call of Duty's and Activision's favor, but as we've seen, I guess they've labeled Charlie Intel as somebody who is critical of Call of Duty, and I guess one of their other news sources has also been warranted a block just for saying, we're playing X-Defiant instead. These motherfuckers are a bunch of softies. Like I said earlier, if Charlie Intel is somebody who is quote-unquote too critical, then the Scatmaster might actually be the spawn of Satan, at least in Activision's eyes, because, I mean, these guys are just soft as all fucking hell. And on the topic of being soft, let's not forget one of the other people that they tried silencing in the community. You remember the Nickmercs situation, guys. I don't need to reiterate all the points. I don't need to talk about the political shit of it. All I need to tell you guys is that is yet another example of them trying to silence and or else cancel somebody just for having a differing view. And whether or not you view that opinion as something harmful or damaging to the community, that's you. Personally, I don't think Nickmercs should have been silenced the entire way that he was, because it's not only that he got his bundle removed, but if you remember, he was supposed to be streaming Call of Duty Champs, and I guess he was being paid a fat ass check by Activision. That is no longer the case. That is completely void. He is not listed as one of the people who are having watch parties for COD Champs, and you might say that is somewhat warranted for his comments. Look, feel however you want to feel. I don't care about this anymore. But what I will say is, one of the main taglines that sprouted out of this entire situation is now being viewed as something not okay to say in the chat when you're watching COD Champs under the official Call of Duty Twitch. I've heard multiple people, and people comment this on my video too, saying leave the kids alone or leave the children alone or whatever the fuck, right? If you say that in the Twitch chat under the official Call of Duty Twitch channel that is streaming Call of Duty Champs that Nickmercs was also supposed to be doing a watch party for, your messages get deleted. Why? And look, I understand if you think the tagline is annoying. I mean, I can make a video about fucking Black Cell or fucking Charlie Intel and somebody will say, leave the kids alone. So to these developers and these moderators, all I say is, do what I do and fucking ignore it. Or close your fucking eyes. It's pixels on a fucking screen at the end of the day. What makes you this soft? I don't understand how Activision, as an entire corporation that is known for doing some of the most egregious, disgusting things possible to their own workers, people who should feel protected, let alone the women in their own workplace who don't feel safe, you want to start defending and playing White Knight to comments on Twitter, to comments in the Twitch chat, to accounts who are trolling, obviously, saying, let's play X-Defiant, knowing that is your competition, knowing that you actually need to step up and not just pretend they don't fucking exist. I don't understand why Activision is silencing the community, because if we're not mistaken, Activision is an advocate for all of these great rights that we have, right? I agree. We should be able to express ourselves freely and feel safe doing it. Okay, well, if I'm not mistaken, the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech applies to fucking everybody here. So Activision, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm not saying you're wrong for quote unquote silencing certain people who say things that are over the top. Obviously, if you're getting death threats and shit like that, that's not cool. All I'm saying is be fucking consistent. And what is this about not inviting certain creators and platforms out to play the new map just because for a week straight they were pissed off that you gave them false information for season fucking 3? That is something to look at your developers and possibly remove some of these moronic developers over at Infinity Ward for not only being soft, but being stupid, giving out false information, and overall being talentless. Maybe if you removed some of these Infinity Ward devs and brought in other people who weren't complete pussies, then maybe we'd get products and seasons and updates that are much better than what we have currently, and voila, maybe you get less trolls and hate. Did you ever think about that? No. All you're thinking about is short term, oh my god, this guy told me to play X-Defiant. Oh my god, he told me to leave the kids alone. What? You fucking pussies. How about you get off your ass and actually try to improve your game? I know people tell me I'm complaining and crying in my videos, Motherfucker, look at these guys. And on top of all of that, you want to invite only creators that think good of your game, so that when the news starts coming out about your game, you're not hearing the critical aspects of it. And once again, I wouldn't even classify Charlie Intel as somebody who's critical. The guy was just pissed because the direction of the fucking franchise looks like Lizzo's shit after eating a fucking pork belly sandwich. You're never gonna get away from the people who are complaining or who are critical of your game. The best way to go about it is self-reflect. Why the fuck do all these people fucking hate me? Think that way. Stop thinking, oh my god, he said something mean on Twitter, the pixels hurt my feelings, block. Let me just wrap this up once again by telling you guys, if this is the company that you are willing to support and buy bundles off of, and support by buying Black Cell and other disgusting shit like that, personally, I truly do feel like you too need to do some self-reflecting. Activision especially needs to do this, but if you are supporting them and still choosing to support them after all of this crap, you need to do some self-reflecting, because I am telling you just from experience, because I know there's a lot of people who just barely got into the franchise within the last few years. This company, this corporation, they are fucking gross. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. On the topic of boycotting Activision, do you think this just adds to the fire? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles. It's been a very long time since the weekend. It's been a